Right, morning Facebook. How are you? How are you all? Oh, we just had a bit of a rainstorm down here in the south, which was actually quite refreshing. It's nice. It's nice to get a change, isn't it? I think that's why my eyes lit up when I saw it actually started raining. I couldn't get my running gear on soon enough. I'm even sporting a nice orange Bright Marathon rain top. I haven't dug that out for years, but hey, that's all part of what I want to talk about today. Well, I've called it overload, which is a phrase which I'm attributing to Ian Griffiths during the very good Podchatlive last night with an exceptionally fast runner, Thomas, who's a podiatrist in Sydney, and it's well worth checking out. Let me just turn around. Oh, it's better. Check it out. Podchatlive last night was great. Look at the recording, and Ian came up with the term on the spot, I think, which was pretty good for Ian Griffiths. He came up with the term overload, as in something that we were talking, mainly it was a therapist audience, but it's something that therapists and runners need to look out for, in the sense that because of COVID-19, some of us have got there's a few factors which I've kind of built on the word. I think initially last night we were talking about the danger of runners maybe suddenly increasing their frequency because of the extra freedom that some runners have got, an unwanted freedom, but a freedom nevertheless to go out running. But it could be the opposite. It could be, actually that's a bit windy, I'm going to turn this way. It could be a case of runners not being able to go out so much because of stress, or anxiety, or whatever, and then when they do go out, they're either less conditioned, or maybe they're kicking it a little bit more than they normally would do, because that's something we do, isn't it? If we're stressed, particularly runners, I imagine also other sports people like boxers and anyone else, sports can be a great way to get rid of that stress, in theory. Certainly I had to be careful this morning, because I woke up, like I put on Facebook, a little bit tense, Groundhog Day, just frigging thinking, are we going to be doing this in 3 weeks time, 4 weeks time? Is this going to be the same routine in 4 weeks time, 5 weeks time, 6 weeks time? It kills me now even thinking about it. And I realised, right, I've got to get out that door and have a run and just clear my head, which I've done, and I've had time to reflect on it. And I realise it's an angle to this overload, #overload. Thank you, Ian. Which is there. We've got to be careful, because although I'm telling people I'm helping, or hopefully advising, giving people the confidence to get out and do some activity and get out, we've got to be careful not to use our running time to overload, to do too much. You know, that kind of run where you're gritting your teeth, closing your eyes, listening to some incredibly motivating music, but you are actually exposing your body to and which is more than it's accustomed to, and we know that's tied in with injury. And also, like I say, we've got to be careful not to go from nothing, or maybe from 2 times a week, to 5 or 6 or even 7 times a week, just because you've got that extra time. You've got to still manage your load. You've got to, more than ever now, write a training plan, have a look at the numbers, make sure you're not jumping by too much. Otherwise otherwise you're going to end up injured, and you'll be worse off than before. You're going to get the bug back for running, appreciate it for a few days or a week, and then suddenly find yourself injured, and we don't want that happening. So that's why I've called this edition overload, which I'm hoping will catch on. So anybody who is watching this video, let's do it for Ian, please, the wonderful Ian Griffiths of Sports Podiatry. I can see in his little eyes he was hoping they would catch on. So there we go. #overload is adjusting your training in a way that could be detrimental to your health because of the COVID-19 situation we currently find ourselves in. And it's not a laugh at COVID-19, it's not taking the mick out of anything. It's actually a very good, important observation of how we could see running related injury increase because of COVID-19. So there you go. Right, before I go any further, let's say hello to some of you lovely people in here. I do appreciate you all coming and doing this, because believe me, as much as hopefully I'm occasionally giving out pearls of wisdom to runners out there, you guys are helping me, because I so look forward to this as well. I hope you guys are all managing to do some online socialising as well. House parties seems really good on iPad. We're doing that as parents. We're doing that quite regularly, just meeting up with other parents online, chucking our keys in the middle of the table. No, that was a different time. No, we're just meeting up with parents online and just sharing our week's event. Normally focuses around kids and watching each other drink copious amounts of alcohol, so I recommend that. But even if you're not parents, then just I pick up the iPad. Occasionally I pick up my iPad and just flick through it and just FaceTime somebody who I haven't spoken to for a while, and if they don't answer, then I go to the next person. Maybe that's just me, I'm weird. So hi Andrew Ayers, thanks for joining us. Hey Cara, how you doing? Cara Gregory, nice to see you here. Anna Mongan, how are you? You're very active at the moment with the stuff you're putting online. It's great to see. I love following what you're saying. Leanne Emery Garner, how are you doing? Thanks for adding to the feed. I had a very quick look at it. You're really enjoying your running at the moment. It is everything, isn't it? But again, I'm sure you'll appreciate as well, being the seasoned athlete you are, that we got to be careful not to overdo it, because it is a bit of an addiction. I did feel today, yesterday I did splits, and I'm still kind of nursing myself back to fitness of a while ago with my heel pain, but yesterday I felt like, okay, I've kind of gone along at more or less the same speeds for a couple of weeks now, and I need to stick some faster paced running in there, some intervals, and I knocked them in there, and I can still feel, because to do that at my age I need music to make me actually pick up the speed. So I've got a playlist sorted out, and I was knocking them out but thinking, whoa, just do it for the chorus. Okay, Kickstart My Heart, great song, but don't go over past the chorus. That's your goal, and I use that to make sure I'm still not, don't start becoming irresponsible. So yeah, we have got to be careful with the running. Jim Gare, how you doing, Jim? I've really got to find out your real name. I can't be calling you Jim just because you're called Jim Gare. Jim Gare says, good morning, Matt Phillips. Lovely day here in Shetland. Oh, thanks, mate. Thanks for rubbing that in. Great point about how long this will go on for. But thank Christ, or whatever deity anybody in here happens to believe in, we can still get outside. It's true. And the Facebook post I put on today, what's it like? Is there an echo if I stand in here? Whoa, how's that for trips? Anyway, if there's too much of an echo, then let me know, but it is raining a little bit, so I'm going to hang out in here. It was amazing, the Facebook post which I put on earlier today before my run. Yeah, we had Nick in Japan, we had Grant, who's in Spain, I can't remember where, but the 33-day lockdown, you're only allowed out one member of the family to the supermarket, and that's it, and there's like a huge fine if you go to the supermarket that's not nearest your house. And other people in situations, South Africa particularly suffering. So yeah, really fortunate. Let's not take that away. Anytime I moan on Facebook about anything, I'm aware that I'm a hugely, fantastically blessed person. But it doesn't take it away from stress is relative, isn't it? Okay. Everybody can get stressed. It's all relative to your own expectations and circumstances. But yeah, thankfully we can still get outside. John Tibke, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Hey Dan, how you doing, mate? Thanks for doing that 5k the other day. Myself and Claire Minshall both nominated you, and you're very clever. You did your 5k with your kid, counts to 5k, and then you did 5k yourself. What a man. John Tibke, hi Matt, Dan, Anna et al. That's very good. Samantha Shelton, thanks for joining us. Nick Knight, how you doing, Nick? Thanks for your comments as well. It's nice, isn't it, when you put a feed out there, just post out there saying, hey guys, I'm a bit stressed, and everyone chimes in. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the most positive things about social media. Belinda Longhurst, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Lydia, nice to see you. Leanne, I said hello, sorry Leanne. I'm just scrolling down. Paul, Nick, don't use the term COVID-load. Do like that though. Thanks, Ian Griffiths. Didn't use the term COVID-load. All right, there you go, Nick. You can help spread it. Just always credit Ian, because he will appreciate that, I'm sure. I think it's good. Hashtag COVID-load. Making running mistakes due to the situation. Terry, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. How's your mum? Hope she is getting better and that you are well. Ruth, Manet, Danielle. Sorry, I didn't mean to sigh then. I was like, oh God, I'm sick of these people in here. No, it wasn't that. It's just a sigh now and again. Andrew Ayres, Griffiths hit the nail on the head with that term. Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's a good term. Kids not allowed out in Spain, so lucky. What does that mean? It means that you can get out without kids around you. That's funny. Mark, how you doing, mate? If anyone needs a smile, just follow Mark Benaldi. You need to do a compilation of your dances, Mark. If you've got a YouTube channel, that'd be great during this time. You need Mark Benaldi to set up a YouTube channel purely of his dances and costumes. Michelle Rose, Daniel. Hi, Michelle Rose, Daniel, Ian. I think that was Chris, not me, but we do get confused from Podchatlive conference. I can't remember what you're talking about, Daniel. Sorry, lost me there. Mark, I'm doing probably more running now than before COVID, good or bad thing. Yeah, so just be careful. I hope this makes sense to you, Mark. It's just such a paradox, isn't it? People can go out more running, and yet you can't go and see an actual therapist if you do run into problems. There's online consultation, which is there, but I don't want anybody to start injuring themselves purely because they've taken up the great idea of getting out doing some exercise. That'd be such a shame. So, right, well, there we go. And hi, Nikki, as well. So, what else can I talk about? Yeah, COVID load. So, like I say, you've got to, now more than ever, the most important time is to, if you are going to start running or you're getting back into running, get a plan together, put some structures together. I think a few people said in the post the way to avoid anxiety and stress is having a plan, having something which, obviously our days are very different. Let's see if I can get back outside now. I'm getting claustrophobic in there. Oh, that's better. Our days are obviously very different than they were before. And for a lot of us, we've lost that structure, which, although sometimes we curse, it actually helps us stay a bit sane. It's like with kids. I've seen with my kids, if they don't have structured homeschooling in the morning and we sit down and we have a combination of different things, like we'll watch something on TV, make some notes, do some drawing on that, answer some questions, do a quiz, pause it. One of them's 4, 5, one of them's 3, so I can kind of adapt it according to which level I'm trying to cater towards. So for the 5-year-old, I might turn the sound down, he has to read it. For the 3-year-old, and they love it. They love this structure. They need it. Okay, it's like snack time is in half an hour, kids, and once they've got that out of the way, they can cope. You know, and then after snack time, we're going to do this, dressing up time, and then we're going to do this, and then your mum's going to do this with you, and then dad's going to take you out for a run in the buggy, and just the way it's the same way as this keeps kids sane. We need that in our lives as well. We kind of get it normally through this thing called work, where we know, even though we curse it, we get up in the morning and then we shower and then we get to work and we see our friends and maybe we have a coffee for breakfast and then we do this, then we do that. If we're working with a public, we've got a appointment list which we go through. We do our notes afterwards. All of these things, however much we curse them, keeps us very sane, and we need them. And suddenly a lot of that's been taken away from us. So now more than ever, you need to be keeping a diary and creating a new type of agenda, a new type of what I'm going to do today. How is my day on Wednesday going to be different than today? Otherwise, you're going to start going insane. So if you are a runner or you're looking to get into running, then running can form a very important part of this diary. Plan it out, and I do believe do it on paper. We're all probably getting far too much computer time, says me, doing these things on social media, but we've got to make sure we do get a balance of writing things out on paper again. So I recommend that write out a running diary, be sensible with it, do a bit of research if you need be, look back at some of my suggestions on the YouTube channel, Podchatlive, but yeah, put together a sensible, good training program, and if you're at the stage where you can divide them up, then divide them up and stick to it. Typically we'll have our 3 days a week, where one day is your maybe tempo run, another day could be some kind of hills or intervals, another day could be the long run. So stick to those, create some structure for yourself to stop you going crazy. Make sense? Let me have a little look. Let me just scroll. John Tibke says, lots of people expressing guilt about feeling low when they're in a relatively good position, but we are all where we are, only human to struggle with this situation, and that's a good reason for your hit more post today in this conversation. The low mood comes and goes in our house, to be expected. Yeah, no, it's very wise, John. I think that can add to the stress, can't it? Guilt is such a horrible emotion, isn't it? It's so unnecessary, it's so wasteful. Guilt in relationships, guilt with kids, guilt with work, guilt with the homeless, guilt with people who are currently in hospital, guilt for the NHS staff, guilt for everybody. Guilt is such a waste because no one benefits from your guilt. All it is detrimental to you. It doesn't help anybody. You know, if you're feeling bad about something, then try and do something to change it if you can. And if you can't do anything about it, then get rid of it, chuck it out. It needs to go. And I think there's a lot of, like you say, John, there's a lot of guilt out there at the moment. Almost guilt of not talking about something because you know there's people worse off from you, but that's really bad. Really bad. And as I worry about people out there who have got serious mental health problems, I worry about them bottling things up even more because they have got their home, their security, their food, their family, and they just don't want to talk about it because they think there's people far worse off than me, which is what screws me up with the media putting out pictures the whole time and death tolls and this and that and drama and tragic, horrible stories. It really pisses me off because it just increases that guilt. When is the media going to put out some positive stories? I've yet to see anything positive. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Sorry, I was getting quite annoyed there. I do get annoyed with the media. I really do. I watched a film the other day which I recommend. I got to think what it's called now. That's my worst thing with films. I'll come back to it. It'll come back to me when I'm not even thinking about it. It was with Charlie Theron and Seth Zaffron, is it his name? About a couple. She's the president, and he is a struggling journalist, and she used to babysit for him. And then she needs a script writer because she's going for presidency, and we put it on as a nighttime thing thinking this will be a nice feel-good movie, and it was brilliant, and it was such a criticism of the media, and it was a brilliant criticism of the media. I recommend you watch it. Can't remember the name of it though. Just look up Seth Rogen and Charlie Theron. It's only a few years old, but yeah, really good criticism of the media. And my wife looked at me and went, "You really hate the media, don't you?" I said, "Well, this really not, hits the nail on the head." Anyway, Daniel Ian, the 5 kilometres, or maybe you were talking to another Dan. I don't know. Jim, sorry, I don't know. Brain like I said. Jim, 3 of our group, including myself, should have been running London next week. Yeah, it's true. Maybe that's part of it as well. It's all starting to happen now, isn't it, with the London Marathon coming up or not coming up. I'd organised a load of my students were going to be working at the London Marathon. I was really excited for them. They were new students. But they had enough knowledge now to be doing pre and post event massages with me alongside them. We were doing it all for charity, and they were really excited, and I built them up, and we've had lessons about that, and then it was all cancelled, wasn't it? So that was probably part of the annoyance. But yeah, imagine, I wasn't even planning to run it or anything, but imagine all the runners who are going to be having to change their plans. Yeah, it is a shame. So Jim Gare says, any tips on staying motivated and possibly keeping on track these next 3-4 months? It's an interesting one, isn't it, with races, because they've piled them all together, like Ian and Craig and Thomas were talking about yesterday in Podchatlive. They've all been put together back to back, in theory, to happen kind of September, October, November. You've got them all bunched together, so are people seriously considering doing them all back to back, or would that be a bit ridiculous? I suppose if doing races is what keeps you motivated, then it's still potentially, you've got, what have you got, all May, all June, all July, all August, it's 5 months until one of those marathons happens. So really it's still 20 weeks away. So I mean, in 4 weeks time you could potentially start on a 16-week training plan for the revised date, depending on which marathon you're training for. But until then, some periodized training. Now might be the time to give a little 4 to 6 week session on some strength training, or maybe some cross training. dig out that bike. Who knows? Maybe say, I'm not going to do running for 6 weeks. I'm going to really see my cycling getting better. There's been some great developments for a lot of people I know, a lot of athletes, where they have actually taken time out and cross-trained seriously, properly with some swimming or cycling, and you do see the knock-on effects for your running. One, maybe because you're having a rest and the body adapts during rest, and two, you're just kind of working muscles which haven't been worked before. And then they might not be specific for running, they're still going to make you overall increase your overall strength and determination and fatigue, because you're challenging different ways to get over fatigue. So maybe that gym gear, maybe digging something out. I know I'm still waiting for someone in Hove on Gumtree to let me know about a kick bag that I've been trying to get my hands on to stick in the garden, because I want to get the kids doing some kicking and boxing and stuff, particularly the older one now, and I fancy it for myself just to do a bit of cross training. I think Mike James asked in the post today about what would you do, or what can we do if it is total lockdown. And this is where we do have to kind of start preparing. Maybe I've looked into treadmills, but it's just not going to happen. Getting it there, getting it delivered, the expense, not going to happen. Exercise bikes, probably a bit of a cheaper option. I mean, you can get stuff in Argos, but you just got to be careful, haven't you? Because especially when you're kind of 17 stone, you can't buy a £60 bike or a £100 treadmill. It's not going to work. But yeah, there's this kick bag. So I don't know what's happened to Kay and Hove, but if you listen to this by any chance, or anyone knows Kay and Hove, tell them to look at their emails. I want to buy that bag. Just dump it outside your house. I'll pick it up in the car, and I'll pay for it online. Just it's annoying me, but I hope Kay's okay. Maybe there's a reason they're not emailing me back, don't know. But anyway, Graham, hi. Steve, hi. Daniel, I'll catch up later. Stay safe, everyone. Good info, Matt. You're right. Sure, there's links on stress fractures and training haphazardly due to stress. Oh, without a doubt. Training haphazardly, what a great word, is the route to many a pain and injury. Nikki says she's looking forward to next week for school at home. Yeah, I mean, I've had time off because I teach, so I've gone 2 weeks Easter with no online classes, so I'm kind of looking forward in a way. I know I'll be regretting that within a few days, because it can be quite tricky managing students, particularly younger students, online, trying to get homework and stuff done and keeping that. The main thing with teaching online is just keeping that consistency going. It's just so important. But yeah, some structure will return after these holidays are over. Hi Elizabeth, hi George Poulos, how you doing? Mike Burby, hey Mike, how are you? Emma Bergen-Kisby is back in as well, how are you doing? And Mark, so very, very true, Matt, thank you. Does that mean you're going to do a YouTube channel, Mark? Andrew, hi. Paul, hi. Neil. Leanne says, true about the media. Also feel like there is other world. Also feel like there is other world. Do you come back? Do you finish that later, Leanne? Also feel like there is other world. Don't know what that means. Mark Benaldi, but that's what media do and always have done. They thrive on drama, but we suck it up every day. Yeah, it's true, isn't it, Mark? It pisses me off. I don't watch it. Just switch it off. Idiots. Hate it. Really annoy me. Anyway. Oh, other world news we just start getting. Leanne's back. Maybe. I don't know. I just wish the news, it could be such a powerful tool in helping people and making people feel better. You know, I don't know if it was an exaggeration, but I remember the documentary, I think it was the 9/11, or was it Bowling Columbine? Might have been, but the that documentary by Michael Moore, and I think knowing Michael Moore, it was a gross exaggeration, but he compared the American news to the Canadian news. And if anyone is from America or Canada, you can chime in here, but he was kind of comparing how in America it's all selling fear. It's all kind of making people feel worried, because that's the power for making people buy things. So buying alarms, buying guns, even buying, I don't know, the most expensive toothpaste and aftershave and perfumes because of fear of being smelly or having your teeth rotting. And it's all like it's media sells, and it makes a nation who is scared, and it increases potentially crime and stress and worry. And then he kind of pans over to Canada, who in theory, I mean, he probably cherry-picked it, has a much more kind of relaxed news output, and they do put stories showing how people have overcome wonderful things and helped each other, and they tend to put less of that fear-based news out there. Yeah, so I don't know if that's a gross exaggeration, but it has always really annoyed me how TV is not used more constructively in education, in helping people. It's always pissed me off. There's a time and a place maybe for the Kardashians and Britain's Got Talent. Actually, maybe there's no time for Britain's Got Talent, but I don't know. But yeah, anyway, it's a shame. Anna Mungan, I had this exact discussion with my kids last night, GCSE and A-level age. Their direction exams has been taken away, much like our goal races. Today we're putting some sort of focus back in training, kind of challenge to get across to gains motivated teens. Yeah, no, very true point. And it's such a shame for kids in that year who've had their GCSEs and A-levels just ripped. It's surreal. I think I read somewhere else, I can't remember who it was, it might have been Steve Magnus, it was someone else who just said this is going to have repercussions on a lot of young people later on. It really is changing a lot by taking such an important part of their life away. Very interesting point. I suppose as parents we've just got to kind of get in there and still maintain that desire which kids look like they don't have, but they actually do have and they need, as in structure, playtime, work time, so important. Wendy Goldthorpe, hi to you. Margarita Bennett, Jonathan Small, Camille Pelican, how you doing? Nick Knight, Long Shot, the film. Was it Long Shot? Was that the name of the film? Was it Long Shot? Could it be? Was that this Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron film? It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. I was just clapping. I was so clapping. The President of the States and the kind of newspaper tycoon character, Murdoch impersonation, obviously was just spot on. Yeah, good feel films. I think they're important as well. If anyone's got any other recommendations, I'll tell you what else I watched, which was good while on the subject. Beside Me, I think, which is a film with comedian. What's his name? Oh, I'm so bad with names and films these days. It's one where the guy, not Chris Rock, Chris Eade, he takes up a job. It's based on a true story of a guy who's just on parole, and he ends up being a carer for a paraplegic guy in a chair, looking after him. It's based on a true story, and their relationship and how they learn off each other. I can't remember the comedian's name now. He's only 5'4", black comedian. God, that's a really good film there. It's called Beside Me, real good, feel-good film. Then you can Google it afterwards. But that's another one to sit back with some box of chocolates and some tea or coffee or a glass of wine and chill out on. Really positive. What's the name of the comedian? That's gone. Anyway, Leanne Emery Garner. Has taken me 3 years to get into UTMB. Finally have a place. I really hope it happens end of August. End of August. Woo. Fingers crossed for you. But who knows? Going to keep training until. Yeah, there's a lot of that. I think that's what most serious athletes are trying to do. Just knuckle down and keep training until or if news comes through that things are being moved on. Leanne also says it's a good time, work on strength and conditioning, Pilates, etc., isn't it? Yeah, I think so. It's looking at the bigger picture. We've always talked about, we'll do 4 to 6 weeks of strength training, or maybe if you're already strong, do some plyometric training, or we've got the time on our hands now, so it's very much a time of looking at the different components that can help runners, experimenting with it. Having a go. Lloyd Kite, I better make sure my beard is not too unpresentable. Lloyd Kite of the Brighton Beard Company is watching. Hey Lloyd, how you doing? If anyone, obviously, this is just coincidence, Lloyd, but if you are looking for the best grooming products in the UK and probably the world, then head over to thebrightonbeardcompany.co.uk for the natural, best produced, wholesome, best smelling balms, oils, and even brushes and bags you could want. That's the www.thebrightonbeardcompany.co.uk for all of your grooming needs. Thank you. Back to the normal programme now. Mel, how you doing? Nice to see you in here. Nikki says, haha, yes. I'm not sure what that was to, but I've lost track of what the hell's going on. Camille Pelican says, I serviced my old crappy turbo just in case we go to full lockdown. Yeah, I was looking into prices of turbos. We've got bikes and stuff, but geez, they're expensive, and most of them are already out of stock. I couldn't believe how expensive they were. Just to mount your bike on something and be able to, I suppose it's the resistance they provided. But yeah, turbo is obviously one which I'd get people to look out for now. Maybe it's worth the investment. So this is the thing, we don't know how long we're going to bloody be doing this, do we? But yeah, I looked the other day for turbos, but most of them are out of stock or just like 300 quid or something silly. So, Mike James, announcement. Dun, dun, dun. It's an announcement from Mike James. One of my home fitness goals, the beard's coming back. It is by no strange coincidence that Lloyd Kite, creator and director of the Brighton Beard Company, is in the house at the same time as Mike James makes this announcement. Quote, one of my home fitness goals, ... the beard is coming back. I'm glad, Mike, because you look far too good looking, clean shaven, and my wife always goes on to me, take it off, because that Welsh guy looks so much nicer with his beard off. He looks so much more handsome. Don't you want to be handsome? So I'm glad, Mike. Get it back on again and look grizzly again. And if you do need any products, Mike, then use the code RCL15 and you'll get 15% off anything at www.thebrightonbeardcompany.co.uk. Rebecca's watching. How you doing, Rebecca? Hope you're well. Mel, what's the sea like near you? Easy, I'll tell you, Mel. Ready? There you go. It's blue and flat. It's not too windy here at the moment. It's stopped raining. It's beautiful, isn't it? Oh God, I couldn't live without the sea. Space, freedom. I understand now why so many of my friends, when I was younger, used to come down from London and they go, oh, where should we go? Where do we go? Let's just go down the seafront. What? I just want to look at the sea. And sometimes we just park the car and stare at the sea. And I'm like, what are you doing? But I understand now. The sea brings... I mean, I've always lived by the sea, so... But take me away from the sea and I'm missing it big time. Beautiful. It's just that space, not feeling trapped. Very important. I'm not swimming in those, so don't start telling me, Mel, that I'm supposed to be buying a wetsuit and going swimming. That'd be ridiculous. June Harrison, how you doing, June? Nikki Schumann says, I wonder if it could be good for the young people being at home a little more at the moment to appreciate money, what we have, etc. Friends, how to be patient, how to use imagination to keep busy, etc. I'm sure they'll learn a lot, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends. Obviously, it depends. Yeah, I mean, we can get something. Hey, we can get something positive out of anything, can't we? We're human beings. We are blessed with the power to turn anything around just by sticking on a new pair of glasses and critically appraising it and getting something positive out of it. So I'm amazed. I mean, I've only got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, but the 5-year-old is like, oh, when can we go to the beach again, Daddy? When's the cough going to be over, Daddy? And it's like just taking it on board so much. Like, I imagine with older teenagers, and especially teenagers with boyfriends or girlfriends. I've looked back to when I was kind of 15, 16, and I don't think I'd be able to stay indoors. I'd be jumping out roofs and windows to get to see my loved one at 14, 15 years old. Yeah, has anybody out there got teenagers who are trying to escape or running out or meeting up in secret with their first loves? Hard work. I can't imagine it myself. So glad I started late in life with kids. Jade, Scott, how you doing? Joel Satgas is in the house. Well, hi Joel, how you doing? I'm honoured to have you in here. Scott's in the house. Bugger, lost track of time, says Scott. Well, nothing's changed there. Scott, we'll stick down your answer to your foot strike in another one because this has been going on forever. But Scott did ask a question on the Facebook post. In a nutshell, Scott, just because I saw your video, most people do land on the outside of their foot when they run. It's part of the whole mechanism our body uses to provide a solid landing point, which is called supination. So the foot kind of inverts and we land on the outside edge of the foot. That provides a nice strong lever for us to land on so we just don't crumple. Then the idea is you move from that into a pronated state, which is where we move towards the inside. So what I saw in your video, I think, is like the total normal way a foot moves. We'd expect to have wear on the outside of a shoe. It might be further back, it might be further forward. You're a fast runner. I'll say that again because I heard your heart skip a beat or two. You're a fast runner, Scott. So we'd expect with most faster runners, especially over shorter distances, at big speeds to be landing midfoot towards the forefoot. So that's where I'd kind of expect the wear to be. But anyway, Scott, you've always struggled, haven't you, with Achilles and calf problems? So I think there's more to talk about there. Maybe we'll do it another time. Maybe we'll do a live one, Scott. We'll do a live Instagram feed. We can ask me questions. We'll look into it. How's that sound? All because you're late, Scott. Leanne Emery Garner says, I might grow a beard. You see the power of the Brighton Beard Company? I remember actually growing up in Brighton, there was a fashion of women with beards. I don't want to say anything politically incorrect now, but I don't know what it tied in with. There was a little shop, maybe someone else from Brighton remembers this, because I was only about 14 and confused. But there was a little shop called the Little Bookshop, I think, and it was run by women, and they all had little goatees. I'm not dreaming this. It wasn't something I was taking and experimenting with as a youth, but I do remember there was a little bookshop in Brighton, and there was 2 or 3 women who used to run it. I wasn't at the age to fully appreciate whether they were involved in some kind of freedom of gender expression or something, but this was going back to like the 80s, and they had little goatees, they had facial hair. I remember there was one who used to sit down there and just kind of twiddle it as she was reading a book studiously. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know, they seemed very ahead of their times, and I'm not judging them, but I just remember them, and I wanted to know what I think of them. So yeah, there's something if you no, I won't go down that road. Romy, how you doing? Mel Bradbury, no wetsuit. Yeah, because you're made of steel, aren't you and your mum? No, never got into sea swimming and never will. Phil Greenfield, hi. Dave Rogers, hey Dave, how you doing? Thank you so much, Dave, for your contribution to the fund I'm doing on Facebook for World Health Organization and the COVID-19 Respond. Thank you very much. That's still open, people, by the way. If you have got a $5 or something burning in your pocket and you want to donate it to something to do with the COVID-19 response, then the link is still there on Facebook somewhere. So thanks, Dave. Really appreciate it. Hope you're well, mate. Sarah Smith, hi. Simon Spooner. Jesus, Simon Spooner. I really want to meet Simon Spooner. I hope I'll meet you, Simon, at some point at some conference. Just someone who I've missed in the last 10 years and has seemed to have played such a background for some reason. I've missed it. But with the Bartolds and the Pryors and the Kirbys and the Paynes and the Griffiths and the people of Podiatry, I don't know why I've missed you over the last 10 years, Simon, but I hope we do catch up sometime. I do love following the stuff you put out there, and you seem to have an excellent taste in music as well, which I admire. Catherine Fletch Little is watching. Hey Catherine. Thanks, Scott, I love you too. Have I tuned into Beard Chat Live one day? We're talking about it. We'll have to get together with Lloyd at the Brighton Beard Company, and we'll see what's going to go on there. Simon Spooner's hard to catch, and a sock taste as well. I was very interested in the socks you're wearing on that post the other day, a while back. You've got interesting tastes, Simon, I must admit. Anyway, right, geez, I've been talking on forever. I don't know how long. I've got a family to get home to. Let me start walking back. The wind might start now. Okay, so just to summarise, people, and this is mainly for the YouTube, for people who are watching this not live. Sometimes I feel like I should edit out all this conversation because people on YouTube aren't going to watch it, but it's a bit like a soap story, isn't it? I think people like tuning in and just watching people talking and chewing the cud and talking rubbish and talking about beard promotions and products. But anyway, we're talking about Coverload, hashtag Coverload. Your goal, everybody, today is at least 1 or 2 posts which you put out there across the social media is to use hashtag Coverload in a subject to do with the potential overrunning, underrunning, any running relating injury which could come across or could happen because of the COVID-19 situation, in that we've got more time on our hands or less time on our hands for some people, or more stresses, whatever reason it is, doing too much too soon. But remember, hashtag Coverload, and maybe copy in Ian Griffiths as well, if you can. I'll just give his name a credit because that's where it's come from. So yeah, watch out for it. Basically, that was the message today. I do want people to get active. I want people to celebrate and take huge advantage of the fact that in this country so far we are blessed to be able to get out. I think it's so important for a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people, to smell the flowers, get out, see the scenery, You can do so good as well. When I'm running, I'm nodding to people. I was waving to someone just hanging out at Winners Day having a cigarette, because I just thought, I don't know what their life is like. Maybe they're isolated and haven't said hello to anyone for 30 days like Nick Tiny. But so I just waved, and they kind of waved back. They nearly fell out the window. I thought this could go very wrong. But just a nod and a smile, limited because of social distancing, but you can still make people's day by smiling and saying hello. Some of them might be shocked. Some people kind of move away from me when I'm running towards them and I'm waving like some bearded freak, but I don't care. That's the minority. The majority, it's a smile, it's a hi, it's a chance to maybe change someone's day incredibly. So let's not all freaking stay in our houses and just lock ourselves away, because we're human beings. That's it. That is the end of the message. Coverload. How are we going to spell it though? I'm not sure if it's C-O-V-E-R or C-O-V-A. What did I put at the top of this? We'll have to decide that. I think I put it C-O-V-E-R-L-O-A-D. I will have to check. Oh, anyway, right, that was the message. Take care, look after each other, but look after yourselves as well. Yes, we'll talk again maybe tomorrow, but yeah, look out for Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives. I think as well. Can we just make an agreement now that it's Coverload? So it's hashtag C-O-V-E-R as in overload, but with a C on it. Is that right? Yeah, Coverload. And make sure you copy Ian Griffiths if you can. Right, love you people. Thank you very much for joining me today, and we'll talk later on. Take care. Let's close with our shot of the sea again.